Hello, and welcome to Geeks Review. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Royce, and welcome to the show, Charlotte.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're going to be talking about some of your favourite films today.
Yeah.
Not too sure how many we're going to be talking about, but
See where it takes us.
We'll start off with Stand By Me, the 1986 movie, directed by Rob Reiner, based on a Stephen King short story, starring Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, and Kiefer Sutherland. Ugh.
It's a hard name to say. Kiefer Sutherland.
Too many syllables there.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is based on a Stephen King short story, initially titled The Body. And, yeah, it's one of your favourite films.
It is one of my favourite films. I think I watched it for the first time when I was younger than the characters in the film. I was probably like 8 or 9.
Oh, wow.
And my dad showed it to me. My dad's a massive movie buff. And he really encouraged me to watch it. But at the time, when I was that age, I was a big tomboy. So having, a film about boys that age was intriguing and set in the 50s as well. I grew up with my dad in a 50s rockabilly band.
Oh, yeah?
So knowing, I mean, even the soundtrack in that movie is full 50s. I knew all the songs and I loved American culture. So all these themes, I think, in the movie, as a kid, I was in awe.
It's one of those rare Stephen King movies that's not a horror movie, because there's quite a few that he's done, like Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, but there are horrific elements to those. It's different from your out-and-out horror you have in, like, It or something, or Pet Sematary.
Yes.
But, yeah, rewatching this, because the first time I saw this was only a few years ago, just, popped up on Foxtel, so I hit record and watched it. And it was one of those movies that kind of felt like it was iconic, like it just was referenced in pop culture. But when I looked into it, it seems like it wasn't referenced as much as I expected. Like, I think there was a Simpsons episode, season 13, where Homer has a flashback where, much like the premise of this film, he and his mates go and check out a dead body.
Yeah.
So it was him, Lenny, Carl, and Mo joined along as well.
That's funny, I'm going to see that.
Disney Plus, not sponsored. But yeah, it just feels like one of those sort of timeless stories.
Definitely.
Youthful adventures and sort of a loss of innocence in a way, like coming across something horrific.
Certainly. I agree. Watching it now as an adult, I think the biggest thing for me I loved about it is the nostalgia it brings of being a kid and raw friendships. And the quote that he says at the end, I never had friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus, does anyone? I think is so true, and so many people can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, the boys in this story, they're all troubled in some way.
Yes.
So I never had that kind of experience myself, but I can definitely relate to just being out with a friend, like on their farm. I used to have a friend, we used to go to their farm and like go on their ATVs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And just, that feeling of just the summertime and just
having that freedom.
Yeah, the blue skies and the green trees and just rolling hills.
Yeah, agreed.
Incredible landscapes on display here, yeah.
And it was filmed in Oregon, I think?
Yeah, partially in California, like the whole bridge scene with the train.
Right, that was California.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've read a bit about where they filmed it, the different places, what's the same and what's different. And I think the town that they film majority of it in, like every year do some sort of Stand By Me thing where they have the pie eating contest.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that scene.
I know.
Yeah.
That's one you shouldn't forget about.
Yeah, it kind of catches you unawares. So the character Will Wheaton plays Gordy. He's a wannabe writer. During a campfire scene, he decides to tell his mates a story, and the pie eating competition with the character of Lardas.
Lardas, that's right. Oh.
What a strange... That brought back memories of Round the Twist, which was the Australian...
The spaghetti one.
Yes!
Yes,
exactly.
Oh my God, no one talks about that.
Yeah, the Spaghetti Pig Out episode, or just Round the Twist in general.
Yes, and was that the first episode?
No, it was one of the first, though. It was
on the toilet.
Skeleton
was one
on
of
the Dunny, yeah.
That's right,
Yes.
right. Oh my God, yeah, that's very nostalgic.
Yeah, we've been meaning to do a Round the Twist episode for so long.
God, yeah. The parallels in that, to Stand By Me, definitely.
And I think because that was Australian, and even though, didn't grow up living in a lighthouse...
Yeah, true.
That's still, like, just the childhood antics and, like, the feeling of, like, there's something out there in the darkness and something...
Yeah, adventures.
Yeah. Which, as an aside, is something I wanted to bring to the project you and I were working on.
Yes.
But yeah, what a bizarre little scene. And lucky I was not eating when I rewatched that.
I know, you got to be careful. It kind of comes out of nowhere, that scene. But that's what I love about Stand By Me. There are so many just prominent scenes like that. Like, off the top of my head, I immediately think of the scene with the leeches.
Oh, yes.
When they go into the water. God, other scenes, the train scene
Yes.
is a massive scene.
They're crossing a train bridge, and they listen out for a train. As they're halfway across, train comes around the corner, racing towards them, can't stop, so they're running, throw themselves off the end.
Yes. And I was when I was watching the commentary, they were talking about how they were using both the boys on the bridge and they had stunt doubles, and I forget what the name of the effect it was that they used for the train.
Yeah, there is like a forced perspective effect where...
Yeah.
Because there was like an optical effect. This is what they used to call special effects back in the day before they had like proper green screen or computer effects, was optical effects or something like that. And you could tell like, oh yeah, you've gone and got them green screened onto one or two shots, but then there's the one where they're actually running and the train's right behind them and it's a sort of forced perspective. So the train was quite a way back. Then like it actually appeared.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it just looks like it's bearing down right on them. It's just really terrifying.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, in an earlier scene, there's a scene where Corey Feldman, who plays Teddy...
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, he jumps up on the tracks, and he's kind of the character who's really got some issues. And I think they talk about his dad was in the war or something. And
stormed the beach of Normandy.
Yes, the beach of Normandy. And so he jumps on the tracks and is looking directly into this train that's coming towards him, and River Phoenix jumps in and pulls him off just before it's too late.
Yeah.
But I was listening again to that commentary I was watching earlier, and they were talking about how it was the real train just from a distance, and they did it so many times, and I think there was one time they said River Phoenix, he went to lunge and he tripped over the tracks and he fell, and they quickly had to stop the train and stuff. But I never knew that was real. I wasn't sure.
The shot, when they actually pull him off the track and then the train comes by like 5 to 10 seconds later, it's like, that's still cutting it way too fine.
Right?
And it's like, now, what would you do? Like, you'd have like a mock-up of a train, or you just CGI it.
Be so different.
Yeah, it's safe, at least. But
agreed.
Just, if something came off, hit the boys, that's it.
That's it.
It becomes a tragedy, like, another film that you were going to talk about, which was the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
The helicopter.
Do you want to talk about that film very briefly? I watched this film a few years ago as well.
Right.
Did not know about the accident until after the fact, and
horrible.
Yeah, so Twilight Zone was sort of similar to Around the Twist in a way. It was kind of like a different adventure.
Yes, it was.
Every week, hosted by Rod Serling, and then George Miller and Joe Dante, John Landis, and Steven Spielberg, of course, teamed up to make this Twilight Zone movie in the early 1980s, where they would adapt existing stories themselves. You have the opener with Albert Brooks and Dan Aykroyd, which stuck with me.
Yes, oh, it's my favourite.
Yeah, and you kind of got the, I think it's the Creedence song playing, the Midnight Special song.
You want to see something really scary?
Yeah. Really sets...
So creepy.
And the first one, directed by John Landis, is this racist man finds himself thrown back in time.
That's right.
And finding himself persecuted throughout the ages. First as a Jew in Nazi Germany, and then as a black man in Jim Crow era America, and then during the Vietnam War. When I was watching it, I don't know if it really stood out to me that it just kind of ends. It just kind of felt like, well, the guy's a horrible racist. He got what he deserved. Yeah,
well, it's funny. That's the one, because I think, are there 4 kind of stories in that film?
Yes.
That was the one that, because I watched it as a kid, actually, I shouldn't have been watching Twilight Zone as a kid, but I think that was the one I never really watched. And I think when I heard about the accident, I still didn't want to watch it.
Long story short, because it's horrific, but it basically changed the way the films were made from this point on. It was a new scene that was added where the racist character would be redeemed, where he'd saved 2 Vietnamese kids.
That's right.
And as they were filming it, the pyrotechnics on the set caused the helicopter to crash, and it killed the actor and the children.
Yeah, both children, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's horrible.
Pretty horrific. I did actually read, because I wasn't aware. Steven Spielberg was so disgusted, like he advocated for like a change of movie making laws. George Miller, Australian director of Mad Max, who did the final one, which really stuck with me. He was so disgusted he stepped away, and Joe Dante, who's best known for the Gremlins and such, as well as the Burbs. He had to take over editing duties for George Miller's section.
Huh.
So I was like, wow, okay. You know, he had no hand in it past a certain point.
Wow.
So it was pretty impactful, and it's really a stain on that film.
How does it end, that story? I don't remember.
The first one?
The first one,
Yeah,
yeah.
he just gets put onto a train with a bunch of Jewish people who headed for a concentration camp.
Oh my God.
And as he's looking out, he sees his two mates who were in the bar earlier with him, like, coming out and going, oh, where'd he go? We haven't seen him.
Oh.
And he's there screaming, like, I'm here, and they can't hear him. So yeah, watching it, I was just thinking, oh, the racist got what he deserved, you know? But yeah, then there was the Steven Spielberg story with the old people.
The old people, I remember that one a bit more. Is it like a nursing home or something, and a group of elderly people, something happens. I don't remember what happens, but they turn back into their younger selves, children?
Yeah, there's this magical... It's a horrible trope where there's like a black person who has like a magical quality and sort of
Oh, yeah.
changes the lives of the white people.
Yeah.
So that's what happens, and all the old people become young, but then they realise, like, oh, well, we can't go home. We can't go back to the nursing home. You know, our family won't recognise us. We'll go back to being old.
Yes.
And the grumpy old man who refused to take any part in this, he realises, like, oh, I can still be youthful in my old
Right.
age, so I'll lighten up and be a nice person.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is a bit saccharine.
It is a little bit, and I think I remember as a kid it was the one, because I think it was the last two that I watched the most.
Right.
So from memory, I think it bored me a little bit as a child, that
Yeah,
one.
it did stand out to me as like, this isn't quite as horrific as the first one, is it?
Yeah, there wasn't much of something to dig your teeth into.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
The third one I had absolutely no memory of, which was, as I was reading the description, I'm like, oh, yeah, kinda.
The one with the little boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had zero memory of this one.
Really?
Yeah.
That one stuck with me as a kid, I think, because it terrified me.
Yeah.
It was about... Well, it starts off, doesn't it, with a woman... Is she a teacher?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. She arrives in this town, and I don't remember why she's there, but she goes into a diner, and there's a boy there. And this young boy, I think when she's leaving, she hits him when he's on his bike.
Right.
In her car, accidentally, and offers him a ride home. And when she gets to this boy's house, she notices it's something's off when she goes inside and meets the family. It turns into it mixes kind of animation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Quite horrific animation.
Yeah, this was the Joe Dante section, so you can kind of see there's the DNA of Gremlins. And
Yeah, right. See, you know
that
what?
kind of stuff.
I hate to say it, but Gremlins, I have never seen.
Right. I've only seen it when I was like 8 years old,
Really?
and it terrified me.
Did it?
Yeah, it's legitimately scary.
So
and
it's scary.
yeah, I think it's a perfect introduction to horror for kids.
Right.
Although, like, I haven't seen it since. And the second one, which was also directed by Joe Dante, many of the same cast return. It's kind of a parody of the first one. It's a lot more self-referential, and YouTubers, Red Letter Media, who are pretty prolific in this sort of nostalgic look back, which we're doing.
Yes.
They've just recently spoken about the Joe Dante films, and they said, like, yeah, the second one is just the greatest sequel that's ever been made. It just
Really?
takes that concept, changes it, doesn't try to copy what the original did. But I think I was too young when I saw it.
Sure.
I was like 11 years old, and I was just like, what is this?
You don't get it.
No. There's like all these gremlins around the TV station. And like, you know, there's like homages and parodies of like cooking shows and lifestyle shows and all that.
Gremlins, the only thing that reminds me of Gremlins, did you ever watch Trilogy of Terror?
No.
God, I don't even really know what it was. I just know I watched it as a kid, and it was this really short film.
Anthology film, yeah.
Anthology film. There's this one about this woman in an apartment, and she buys this... It's some sort of tribal doll that comes to life, taunts her. Great ending. I recommend it. God, yeah, it reminded me of Gremlins because it was about like a little crazy little creature.
Yeah, I'm seeing this image here on the Wikipedia page.
That's the one. That terrified me as a kid.
I'm reading the description. I'm like, this kids should not be watching this.
I know, right? What was my dad doing?
Zuni fetish doll. Oh my god.
Zuni fetish doll.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that was a weird one.
That's it.
That's my childhood trauma.
Wow. Yeah. Understandably.
Yeah. When I think of probably the thing that scared me shitless as a kid, another one I shouldn't have been watching as a kid was Signs. Have you seen Signs?
Yes.
And that
No
one
way.
scene
Oh.
when he's watching the television and the freaking thing comes out.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, the reaction that Joaquin Phoenix has in that
Joaquin
scene
Phoenix.
is so appropriate, just like how he throws himself back.
Yes, that's how I felt. That's how I was reacting.
Yeah, that is such a funny film, though. I love when they're trying to... I haven't seen it for a few years as well,
Me
but
neither. I've got to rewatch it.
they're like trying out superstitions and they're running around the house and Mel Gibson's like shouting something. It's just so funny. Just like
Mel,
such a
of course, yes.
comedic juxtaposition. Going back to this Stephen King connection, The Green Mile was playing on television when I was a teenager, really early
Really,
at
that's
night.
another one I need to see.
There's a pretty horrific scene with an electric chair, an execution. Why is this on at 7:30 at night?
Jesus.
I grew up in West Australia, so I don't know if Fat Cat was a thing in the other states. Like he was the mascot for Channel 7 over
Fat
in
Cat.
Perth, and like
Doesn't ring a
every
bell.
7:30 at night, like they'd have like good night boys and girls, and Fat Cat would go to bed,
Oh, I see.
and then
I
like
see.
you know border security or whatever would start.
Yeah.
But I was like, Fat Cat hasn't even gone to bed there. Why is this on?
That's scary.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah.
It's a horrific scene.
God, there's so many movies you see as a kid that you shouldn't. You know, one that's a kid's movie that stuck with me horrifically was Never Ending Story.
Never seen that. I was
Really?
reminded of that though with the bog scene in Stand By Me.
Which scene?
Because isn't there the scene where the horse gets trapped in like the dismal swamp or something?
Yeah, in Never Ending Story. Yes,
Yeah, and then
that's what
Stand By
stuck.
Me, the leech scene, like when they're going through the mud.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I'm
very
like,
true.
yeah, a bit of parallel to that.
A big parallel. Yeah, no, that was the scene in Never Ending Story when the horse got stuck in the water that destroyed me as a child.
I never saw it though. And there was a cartoon about 20 years ago based on the Never Ending Story,
Yes,
which I did
there
watch.
was. Yeah, and they made a second film, I think, too. Never Ending Story
Yeah.
2. But yeah, back on Stand By Me,
Yes, that's our main topic.
that was our main topic. Talking about the characters, I was listening to Will Wheaton speak about how each of those boys really related to their characters and they were cast pretty much because they were their characters. I think he was
Yeah.
saying, you know, when I was a kid, I was kind of a little more quiet and nerdy, and Chris River Phoenix, his character is very passionate and almost a parental figure to the other boys, and he was saying in real life, River Phoenix really was like that. And Corey, at the time, you know, his character's going through stuff and he's a little bit wacko. And at the time, he said, you know, I was going through some awful times with my parents, and I was a bit of a crazy, angry kid.
Yeah.
And then Jerry O'Connell, the youngest of them all, was the kind of funny, ditzy one.
Yeah, I knew Jerry O'Connell as an adult actor, and I didn't recognise him the first time I watched
He's
this.
so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's married to Rebecca Romaine now.
I know, right?
Yeah. John Cusack plays...
He does make an appearance.
Yeah.
As Gordy's older brother.
And he'd be in a later Stephen King adaptation, Room 1408,
Right.
which was not as scary as I thought, but it's a cool horror concept with a haunted hotel room.
I've got to see that one too.
I completely forgot that Richard Dreyfuss was in this.
Yes, Richard. I was actually, I was listening to Rob Reiner talk about how, because Richard narrates the film, for those who haven't seen it, and the director was saying, I had so many people come in and try the narration, and I was auditioning lots of people, and he said, I think I even tried at one point to do the narration, and it just didn't work. And he said, so we found Richard, and he was perfect for the role. And I agree, his narration in this movie is... God, I think one piece that just brings it all together. You know, even, I'm only 21, but I can relate to that, you know,
Yeah.
having friends as a kid, those raw friendships, and now as an adult, you lose that, you miss that,
Very much
that
so.
connection.
Like I was saying, this is considered to be the non-horror movie of Stephen King's, but it is quite horrific in that way. You know, sort of like that existential horror, which doesn't hit you until you're older and you realise, I've lost my youth. You know,
Yes,
I've lost contact with people.
very much so.
And
It is a horror in that aspect, isn't it?
I was reminded of another film, American Graffiti, which Richard Dreyfuss was actually in.
Oh, I haven't seen that one either.
Directed by George Lucas, came out in 1973. That kind of has a retrospective on the end as well. It's done by title cards rather than narration or like a character reflecting.
Yeah.
It's set in the 1950s. Ron Howard is in it, as well as Harrison Ford, very briefly.
Oh, wow, what a cast.
Yeah, so it's pre-Star Wars George Lucas, and it's him kind of reflecting on his youth when he would go out driving cars. And George Lucas was actually in a pretty horrific car accident when he was young, and it changed his trajectory in life. And turned him towards directing films as opposed to racing cars. And just that little moment changed the world.
Yes.
In a way.
God, yeah.
In recent years, there's been a spate of films that have been quite nostalgic for, like, not just the 80s, but the 90s, and we're moving into the era of the 2000s nostalgia now.
Yes, we are. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. And there's been criticism of, like, people keep looking back. What have kids got to relate to now? Because everything's just looking back at the 2000s or the 90s. But this was happening. Stand By Me, what is it? It's a 50s nostalgia piece.
Yes.
Is there a difference now, do you think, between the current nostalgia films and these films?
God, that's a really, really good question. I don't know, there is something about those older films that has a sense of magic. God, and I don't know whether it's just because of the cameras,
Yeah.
the look of it, the
Yeah.
graininess, or just, Stand By Me in particular, I think the reason I find it so nostalgic is because it's so real, and I think the performances in it are so real. But comparing it to, films of today that try to bring out nostalgia, I'm just trying to think of an example.
Stranger Things and It.
Stranger Things is a great example, and one that has become really popular around the whole world. I really enjoyed Stranger Things. I've got to kind of catch up on the last seasons, but that is very similar to Stand By Me plot-wise, and I think it does a really good job at capturing that nostalgia of what it's like to be a kid.
Did you ever watch The Goonies when you were younger?
I did.
Yes.
I loved The Goonies as a kid.
Yeah, I loved that. I was 9 when I first saw that.
Yeah, I was probably the same.
Just realising, like, oh, that's Sean Astin. That's Josh
Yes,
Brolin.
Sean Astin. I was amazed when I made that connection watching Stranger Things. Yeah, and Corey Feldman's in that too, isn't he? The
Yes,
Goonies.
he is, yeah.
Plays Mouth, I think.
And Ke Kwan, now Oscar winner, Ke
Yes.
Kwan, has made a bit of a resurgence in recent years.
Yeah,
after,
full circle.
Yeah, he took a step back from films because he felt that there wasn't any good Asian American roles, and
Yes.
since then he's had those in spades.
Yeah, because he was in Indiana Jones too, wasn't he?
Yes, he
a
was
child.
Short Round, Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. What did you think of the newest Indiana Jones film?
You did want to talk about that one.
Yeah.
It isn't as magical because of, I think the modern filmmaking
course.
gloss just doesn't have that charm.
I agree.
Yeah, I did enjoy this one.
I did too. I hadn't seen the originals in a long time, and I still haven't. I've got to rewatch them. I wasn't expecting it to be as entertaining as it was, because I tend to find that movies they make these days, adding on to trilogies and stuff, they're just not as good as the originals.
It's very long.
It was long, wasn't it?
Yeah, you got like the first half an hour is just like a young Indiana Jones adventure with
Yes, oh
the
my
de-aged
God.
with de-aged Harrison Ford, but
Yeah, the
his voice is still
CGI.
old. Yeah.
That was a little bit strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's largely convincing for the most part, but you're still realizing, like, you're not just enjoying it as it is. You're going like, oh, that looks good.
Yes, true.
You're too distracted by the effect.
And the villain in that film,
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. I always forget that name.
Yeah,
Hot take. I had the biggest crush on Mads Mikkelsen
it's
as
not
a kid.
People love Mads Mikkelsen.
I
Like,
know, right?
Even playing Hannibal Lecter, people love him.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him in this film. Alongside another actor, I tend to forget his name. He played a role in... have you ever seen The Sandman, the TV show?
Yeah, I've only seen season 1.
Me too. He played the character with... He didn't have eyes.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
kind of a
Boyd
villain.
Holbrook is the actor.
Yes.
Yes, I really
Boyd.
liked him in Sandman.
Yes, I really liked his performance. And I'd never seen him in anything before.
Yeah. Stand By Me.
Yes.
There was the Star Wars series Skeleton Crew earlier this year, which was very Goonies inspired, like a bunch of kids go on a pirate adventure.
Right.
It feels like a movie that would have come out in 1987, like if someone took the Star Wars license back then and just like, can we do this Goonies style adventure?
Yeah.
Jude Law plays a pirate. It's great.
Jude.
It's a lot more feel good
Right.
than Stand By Me.
Yes.
And especially the Goonies, which is a lot more sort of feel good than Stand By Me.
Yeah, it's interesting, Stand By Me, how you sort of see it as a feel-good, but it really isn't, is
Yeah.
it? It's a very sad film.
Because everyone's got trauma, everyone's got like moments where they
Yeah.
cry, and just the moment where Gordy cries about how his dad hates him is just like, oh God.
It gets you,
Yeah.
the heartache, and it doesn't really have a happy ending either.
No.
They all kind of just, I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah.
it's...
It's kind of upbeat, but yeah.
It does. I suppose when it comes back to Gordy as an adult who's been telling the story, I think it finishes with him taking his kids to the swimming pool or something. So, but yeah, I mean, Stand By Me, the other film that reminds me of Stand By Me that was nostalgic as a child, I think it was in the 90s. Have you ever seen the film Now and Then?
No.
It was very similar to Stand By Me, where it was an all-girls cast. I think it was 4 girls. They kind of go on an adventure, and it follows their adventures. But I loved that film as a kid. It's got Christina
Ricci, yeah.
Yeah, Ricci in it.
Thora Birch, Gabby Hoffman,
Demi
Ashley
Moore?
Aston.
Yeah.
Demi Moore, yeah. Wow. Melanie Griffith, Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, it's got quite a cast.
Yeah, wow.
And that one I loved as a kid. That had a great soundtrack and very similar to Stand By Me.
I have to track this one down.
I recommend it.
An interesting bit of trivia I read in regards to Stand By Me, because you were saying about how you growing up as a tomboy and this appealed to you. One of the earliest Pokemon games apparently has your character. He can go up to the TV and he makes a oblique reference to Stand By Me.
No way.
But if you play as a girl, they make reference to Wizard of Oz.
Oh, right. Yeah, people say that Wizard of Oz is very similar to Stand By Me.
In a sense,
suppose
yeah.
because of just the journey.
I did read that the film Boys in the Hood, directed by
I read something about that too.
John Singleton, yeah. That was Ice Cube, that was Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah, I could see the parallels to that, for sure. It just... And like, oh wow, I need to rewatch that film as well.
God, that's one I still have on the list too.
But anyway, this has been The Geeks Review. We've been talking about Stand By Me, as well as many other nostalgic properties which have come across the table.
Uh-huh.
Stand By Me is available to watch on Stan. I'm Royce.
I'm Charlotte.
This has been The Geeks Review. See you next time. Bye for now.